Ian, thanks for joining us. It's been a while since we've caught up with you. So, just first of all, how do you feel everything's going overall this season?
Yeah, I think we're pretty satisfied. I think hopefully the fans and people around the club, and especially the players and ourselves, I think you can see what we're trying to do, the way that we're trying to go about things. Um, the profile of the players and the nature of the squads obviously changed quite a bit from over the course of the from the end of last season to now. And I think we've shown in all the games that we've played that we're capable of competing with all of the teams that we've played against. I know we've faced sort of difficult moments in some of the games, but I think we've shown enough to especially give the players and give the people around the club encouragement that we're going in the right direction. And as the nature of the players we have and the makeup of them and the profile that we're trying to get that consistency over full matches, and then over maybe little runs of 2, 3, 4 matches here and there. But overall, no, we're pleased with how things are going and how the players are applying themselves and hopefully, like I say, finding that level of consistency and quality of performance that ends up with more positive results, really.
Barring one or two sides at either end of the table, we're in that mid-table cluster of many teams that a couple of wins puts you up a few places, a couple of defeats puts you down a few places. Are you quite satisfied with where we are, the progress that we're making a third of the way through the season?
I think so. I would say we're probably maybe a few points shy of what we probably deserve, really, from the performance that we've had. We haven't been fantastic in every game. Like I say, we've shown bits of quality in most of the games we've played. I can't really remember any game where we haven't shown at least a small spell of quality and ended up with opportunities or goals that we've created. So I think we're probably a little bit shy, but I think you're right, where there's the top two up there and going well. Everybody else seems to have had periods of 1, 2, 3, 4 results, either way, wins or losses. So it's you are definitely in the mix in terms of that, and hopefully, the level of performance can continue to develop, and that'll be, represented by more positive results as well.
What was the feeling amongst yourselves and the coaching team and the group of players this week once you reviewed the Ross County game? Was it still that feeling of frustration and disappointment?
Yeah, I think so. But it's because the games come so thick and fast, and that Ross County game was the third game of the week, really. So you're always gonna, you can get. When the players have put so much into the other games, you can sort of get that in the third game of a week. But we're very much of, let's look at what we did well. Let's look at things that we can improve, and we keep building on that. We watched the game back. We've got, we highlighted some things for the guys on the video, and then look at, we try and adjust and improve things on the training pitch over the course of the week. And then it gets quickly replaced with positivity and anticipation for the next game, really.
In terms of Friday's game against Ayr United, what's your thoughts heading into that one? What do you take away from the first time the teams met here at KDM Group East End Park earlier on in the campaign?
Yeah, we were a little bit disappointed with our first half performance. I know we lost an early goal, and we felt that we were a little bit. We didn't create so much early on in that second half. Obviously, we then had a man sent off, and it seemed to galvanise us a little bit, which can happen. And we deserve something from the game. Again, we were speaking to the staff after the game, and they were saying, you caused a lot of problems even with 10 men. So the guys showed a lot of courage and endeavour, particularly in that second half. We've watched them. Myself and the manager went to Wraith to watch. They played well. They've got experienced players. They're physically good. So they ask questions. It's like all games in this league, the difficult games until you make them easy. So we're under no illusions that it'll be a test like it always is, especially away from home and under the lights. But we feel if we can do the things that we do well and focus on things we do well and what we're about, we're capable of causing anybody problems.
Do you feel that because Somerset Park is notoriously known as quite a difficult venue for teams to go to in the Championship. Does that become a factor, or is that one of those kind of outside myths that just supporters look at?
I think any away game's difficult. Some of the home games is difficult as well. But it seems pretty tight. I wouldn't know the exact measurements of the pitch, but it might not be it might just feel that way. Friday night under the lights seems to create an atmosphere wherever you go, whether that's here or whether you go to an away ground. But I think you have to do, especially away from home, you have to do the basics right straight away. Make sure you get that right and match the opposition, and then hopefully the qualities that we possess, are able to come forward a little bit more, and we can cause them issues.
In terms of squad availability, could I throw a couple of names at you to update the supporters on? So first of all, Shea Kearney, who picked up a knock against Ross County, and also Billy Terrell, who missed the game.
Yeah, they both obviously they got both had knocks really. We're still sort of waiting because we've had a 1 day less preparation. There's sort of little things that need to iron out over the next 24 hours in terms of that. But they're in and around sort of the decisions will get made a little bit closer to the time with those two really. The longer term guys are working away really hard. We're trying to keep them involved. They come to the away games, which is brilliant. Zach and Benny are at the away games as well, which is great, supporting the lads on. And I was mentioning earlier that Benny was out running on the grass today, just doing some easy running. So we decided to use him as a referee in the small sided games, and he's now totally convinced that that's not the path that he wants to go down because he found it too difficult.
It's great, as you said, to hear that the long-term guys are nearing a return. The squad looks really strong in terms of strength and depth, and that must give you great encouragement going forward, that you see guys that have maybe not had as much game time at the start of the season coming into the team and really contributing over the last few weeks.
Definitely. We talk about everybody gets the same sort of treatment. When guys are not playing, we make sure that they're topped up physically and they get their extra bits of football here and there. And that's because they're ready at any point, and you need to be. It's just we're always going to be able to, or always going to need our squad, and we have to make sure that we look after them. They're invested in what we're doing, and I have to say the guys that have come in after periods of sort of limited game time have done really well. So it's a squad game. Manager was talking about that this morning. That there'll be 16 players at least, used. So it's including the substitutes. So it's we have to keep on top of them. We have to make sure that they manage well. A lot of them, a few of them played in the game on Tuesday night. So that's important to get some minutes. So we always take with the medical department. We take a broader view on it all to make sure that everyone's ready, fit, and available should they be called upon.
And it's great numbers that the club are seeing in the away ends at these long trips that the club's been on in recent weeks. The away end sold out at Ross County just the other day there, and even though the game's on the TV tomorrow night, you'll be expecting another large and vociferous power support. Yeah,
the fans have been brilliant. From the small period that we had at the end of last season to everything this season, and even and hopefully they see what we're trying to do and how much endeavour and hard work the players are putting in. Yes, performances, sometimes we can get it wrong, but you'll get that quite a lot with young players. But even on Saturday, we had a bad start, but the players recovered and the fans supported them, and then it was good to see them at the end. They gave them a good send off really, which is hugely important, especially to the younger guys, and having that connection with the fans and vice versa, fans to players. It's huge for a club like ours. So I can only speak highly enough of the support that we get.